Same, they look the same.
One probably works better.
This one. They literally look identical. Spot the difference. I can't.
I built one and I didn't build the other one.
Yeah, ASRo built this one.
Yeah, and I built that one.
Yeah, and Claire built this one. Hey Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. Today we're checking out a new motherboard from NZXT, the NZXT N7 Z590. They're a little bit late to the party with Z590, but you know, this board apparently released on June the 3rd, so let's check it out anyway. And remember, this is not a review. Let's jump in. As usual with these motherboard videos, these videos are not reviews, they're just overviews so we can take a look at what comes in the box of this motherboard, which to be honest, isn't a whole lot, and all the features and everything on the motherboard as well, which to be honest, isn't a lot. So let's jump in, let's just do it. All right, ladies and gents, let's check out the NZXT N7 Z590. Here it is in the box. Right now we got to open it, so let's do that and get the motherboard out of the way so we can take a closer look at all of the things that come with this motherboard. And spoiler alert, it's not heaps. Underneath flap number 1, we've got the user manual. Now, this user manual is a bit of fold-out paper that basically explains what everything is on the board, where everything is, and how to get this thing up and running. It is a very rudimentary user manual, right? Not too interesting. Underneath flap number 2, what do we got first? We've got some SATA or SATA cables for your 2.5-inch SSDs or your spinning rush drives. And last but not least, there's 2 dipole antennas for the built-in Wi-Fi 6E and the Bluetooth 5.2. But enough of that. Let's unsheath this new motherboard from NZXT, and take a little bit of a closer look at the N7 Z590. Okay, first up we've got the front panel audio connector. There's 2 5-volt 3-pin addressable RGB headers, as well as a 12-volt 4-pin RGB header. 3 USB 2.0 front panel connectors for things like coolers and other RGB controllers and all that jazz. There's 3 PWM fan connectors. There's a little diagnostic array screen just to diagnose your system. So clear CMOS. There's USB 3.0 front panel, power and reset button, and front panel connectors for your lights and all your switches. On the right hand side of the board, there is 4 SATA or SATA connectors for your 2.5-inch SSDs or your 3.5-inch spinning rush drives, and a USB 3.0 header. Next to that, there is a USB Type-C header that's kind of hidden next to the 24-pin power connector that'll send all that juice to your brand new N7 Z590. Across the top of the board, we've got 2 more PWM fan connectors, 2 NZXT RGB headers for their proprietary NZXT RGB stuff. There's 2 more PWM fan connectors for an AIO pump or CPU fan, and a 4-pin and an 8-pin EPS power connector on the top left of the board as well. This board's got 2x16 sized PCIe slots. The top one is a x16 Gen 4 slot. The one down the bottom is a Gen 3x4 slot, and there's also a bunch of x1 slots on the board as well. This features Intel's Z590 chipset that supports Intel's 11th and 10th gen CPUs. Pretty standard stuff for a Z590 board here. It also features a 12+2 phase digital VRM setup. This is based on an ASRo board, but as I say later in the video, I'm not quite sure which board this is actually based on. And because this is a Z590 board, it features Intel's LGA 1200 socket that does support 11th and 10th gen Intel CPUs. If we flip the board over, you can see that there's not a lot going on here. And one of the telling factors that this is an ASRo board is the way that the rear I/O cover is actually attached to the board. There's a very ASRo way of doing it. All right, let's get the panels off for the 2 M.2 slots that are on the board. A little bit of force is required here to pop these off. There's 2 M.2 slots on this board. The one on the left hand side, which is the top of the board, is connected directly into the CPU, and the one on the bottom is connected into the chipset. The board features 4 DDR4 RAM slots which support a total of 128 gigs of DDR4 memory at 4266 MHz overclocked. For rear I/O, we've got the antenna connectors for the built-in Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.2. There's a clear CMOS button. There's an HDMI 2.0 port, some USB 2.0 ports, USB Type-C, USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports, Ethernet, although they don't specify whether it's 2.5 gig or 1 gig, but I'm guessing this is 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, as well as 7.1 digital surround sound with optical and SPDIF output. Alright ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this first look and overview of the NZXT N7 Z590. Now, I'm not just speculating at this point saying this is an ASRo board. I used one of NZXT's boards the other day for one of the builds that we did, and I updated the BIOS, and it was an ASRo BIOS updater. So, you know, I actually speculated about this with the Z490 board that they brought out. The N7 version was also the same story here. So, yeah, these boards are made by ASRo. I can't tell you which boards they're based on. I'm gonna guess they're based on the lower model boards. Now this one's got a 12+ 2-phase digital VRM setup, the same as some of the mid-tier Z590 boards from ASRo. So again, not sure which one in particular, because if I had one that I recognized being the same, then I probably would have said. But anyway, that's besides the point. As far as pricing, they're saying that these are unavailable right now. So yeah, I did try and look for the pricing, but as of filming this video, unavailable. However, they did release on the 3rd of June. This seems to be the trend in 2021 with hardware. It says it's available, but is it really? Anyways, if you like the if you like the ASRo N7 Z590, sorry, I mean that's the board there. I guess it'll be available.
Can you do this video properly, please?
I can't, because like the board is interesting enough. It is an ASRo board, but availability, even with some motherboards now. Well, okay, let's have a chat for a second. Most motherboards have been pretty available over this whole pandemic and silicon shortage, right? However, it looks like some of the newer boards are not going to be as available. But we've got some more motherboard stuff coming later in the week too, right? We have another board film that we can't release yet, but some keen-eyed people out there could probably already see it in the background. If you like the music you heard here, I make all the music. It's available over in our Patreon. Want to get early access to videos like this one? Go over to the Flame Lane.
So.
To the lady over there with the black jumper on. You peek, we seek, and I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers, and it's time to engage a very short cinematic mode because there isn't much to look at on this motherboard. Thanks for watching. Lots of potatoes today. Got to put the roast on. Got to put the roast on, love. Got to put the roast on.
I was going to say it is Sunday, but
it's Monday.
I lost the day.
Oi, it's because it's a long weekend here in Australia.
Is that your queen? Is that what she does?
Yeah, she says, no, but this is when you're like,
Aww.
you know, on Baba, the cartoon with Cornelius, he's like, actually, Claire told me that my robot arm is really good. It looks really good, like really like a real swinging robot arm.
Did you go to university to learn that?
Yes.
That's amazing, Nick. You should.
You know what? When you told me that, I actually thought you were being serious.
I was.
We've been through this in videos before, but I'm still hurt that you think that my robot arm is not actually good.
I never said that.
You said it was, and then you're like, I can't believe you actually think I'm being serious. And I cried.
Now you're making me look horrible.
You are horrible.
I'm not.
You're not.
But that is.
No, it's not. It's really good. What?